Hey everybody, I just got back from Alabama and I got to shoot some footage of a few different things. One of the main things is I shot some footage of inoculating logs for mushrooms. A lot of people have been wanting to see this. These are mine. I come back and checked on them this morning. They didn't have any new oysters on them, but back home in Alabama, my sister wanted to see what I was talking about and wanted to get in on this with me, so I bought her some mushroom spawn for Christmas and her birthday. She bought the plug spawn, which is the little pieces of dowel that have been inoculated with mycelium, so it's a little easier probably, but maybe not as cost effective, but she got quite a bit out of that, so for home use that may be a good option. And it's still raining. It's been raining the whole week in Alabama and it's raining here. So let me show you some of the footage that I got. Alright, so we're going to inoculate the logs with the mushroom spawn. My sister bought some shiitake mushroom spawn, 2 different kinds. And first we got to cut the trees. So we got 2 sweet gums here. You'll see me cut them. I'm going to cut them into 4-foot lengths. That's just so we can handle them easy, and that's what they recommend. And somebody had said something to me before about cutting perfectly good trees and, you know, killing trees and all that, and I do respect that, but the fact is these are considered trash trees. When we cut them, there'll be a bunch more come up at the roots. You can see here these little ones are already up, so they'll take off afterwards. So it's all about context, but these are trash trees and this is what we're going to use them for. So I got the tree cut, and when we cut it, we decided that we won't cut the second one. There may not be enough logs here to use up all of the spawn that we have, but if I cut that one I'll have too much, so we may just inoculate them a little heavier and use up some of the spawn. And you can see here I've got 2 of these little branches. I typically wouldn't worry about inoculating that, but since we got to use up some spawn, I think it'll be fine. I just think the life of these logs won't be as long as those, but yeah, I want to see how this works. So I'm going to inoculate the 2 little pieces, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big ones, and some of those were a little bigger in diameter than what I wanted, but we'll still be able to move them. So yeah, that's the
lamps, so we got to get these moved to where we can get a workstation set up to drill the hose and put the spawn in and put the wax on. Okay, so we're trying to set up our drill bits here. I made a little mistake. I wasn't quite prepared. I wanted to do this with a side grinder instead of a drill because it's a lot faster. So I did buy an adapter to where you could put a drill bit in it. However, if you can see, that's a 5/8 hole. And this grinder that I was going to use, I wasn't thinking about it, but that's I think that's a 1/4 inch. But anyway, you can see the difference. So this is for a heavy duty grinder with a 5/8. This would be 5/8. So we can't use that, so that'll be all right. And also, if you're using a side grinder or a drill, you have two different bits. So luckily, we had the bit for a drill bit, which is this one, and this is for the pegs. You also have two different diameters. You have a larger diameter for the plug spawn, which we're going to, or the sawdust spawn, which we're going to use on some of them. But for the plugs, the little dowels, you want this diameter. And you can see here the difference in the chuck part of it. And this won't fit into the grinder adapter, so this one will. You can see that would go in there, and you would just tighten it down with two little Allen screws. So anyway, we have a 8.5 millimeter bit with a stop. That way we get it the exact same depth every time. And we're just going to put it in the drill and get started. Okay, so we got our drill bit in. We're going to drill holes in here to put the pegs in. So there's no need to measure this, but the closer we put them together, the faster that the mycelium will colonize the log, and that's the faster the better. So I'm probably going to go like 4 inches apart and go a line straight down. And so if I put this 4 inches like this, the next row will be about that far over, and they'll be staggered like that. So let's do a few and show you. Make another line right beside it, and you can see why if I had a high power grinder with that on there, that I could just slap it and I'd move much faster. But I wasn't prepared, so this is how I'm gonna have to do it. So I'll show you kind of how to stagger it in the next row. Those rows are a little closer than I meant to get them, but that's fine. We'll just have more logs, but you can see if you get close, there's one line of hose, and then about halfway between every one of these there's a hole. Okay, so first we're going to do the peg spawn. You can see that, you see the white stuff, that is a mycelium. My sister picked the gray dove oyster, which is the same thing I've got on my logs, but this will be the first time I ever used the peg spawn, but I know what to do, I think. I'm going to put it in the hole like that, take a little hammer, drive it in. Okay, so another thing is because that is live mycelium, we don't want this stuff drying out, so we want to go on with it pretty good. And just go down through here, and I'm going to start filling all of the holes. And every one that I drilled, I want to fill it up. And the thing is when you drill these, you want to come pretty quick behind right after, because if you don't, there's possibility of other spores or bacteria or something else getting in here. That's why we're using fresh logs, is because we want to colonize this with our mycelium and nothing else. So that's that. Alright, so you can see here my sister got all the little pegs nailed in. So we got to cover these with wax. That keeps any of the outside bacteria or fungus from contaminating it, and it also keeps the moisture in. So you can use a lot of different stuff. I just use this store-bought stuff. I got it from Walmart, and I mix it about 75% wax and about 25% mineral oil. And yeah. Alright, so I got a little propane burner. You could use an electric hot plate or whatever to get your wax melted. And that is hot, so I need a glove. Okay, so we got our wax. I have to melt it. I'm using a little propane thing here. Hot plate, crock pot, or anything will work. Be extremely careful. This can catch on fire and it could burn a house down or whatever. So you got to keep the wax melted. And I'm just using a little cheap dollar store paintbrush, and you can see the holes here. I just want to cover each hole, and just go down the line, and you can see it's already hardening. And I'll have to periodically take this and put it back on the heat. And the guys that are using the crock pot, they can get it at a constant temperature, and that works a little better, I think, but I don't have one that I can use just for that. So I'm just going to do all of these holes on this log while somebody else puts the pegs in the next log. Okay, so we got all of our oysters done with the pegs. Now we're going to do it with the spawn, with the sawdust spawn. You can see I changed my bit. It's a bigger diameter bit for this, and we got a bigger log. So this will be shiitakes, and I'm just going to roll it over kind of back and forth, and that'll let all the sawdust fall out of the hose. Okay, so this is a sawdust spawn. You got sawdust. Comes in these bags, and the white stuff is the mycelium. So this is a living thing. So the mycelium's in the sawdust. I like to crumble some up and just put it in a container like that, and that makes it easy to get my inoculation tool into. So you got the stuff that I broke off and poured in here, and hopefully my hands are clean and I'm not contaminating this spawn, but I'm just breaking it up and crumbling it so I can get a good mix of the mycelium through there. So you've seen that. So I'm going to take this is an inoculation tool. Basically works like a syringe. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm going to put it down in here and twist it around, and you see I've got some in there. So now I've got my holes that are drilled right here. I'll snug it over the top, and you can do it once, but I like to hit it 3 times, and it's down in the hole really tight, and we'll seal that with wax just like we did on the pegs. And so I'm going to have to do all of these holes, very similar to the plug spawn, but this is cheaper. Your money will go a lot further with this, and some people think that the logs will get inoculated a lot faster. So just going over the whole process, basically I'm cutting these logs fresh because I want a log that's not colonized by any other type of fungus or bacteria. And when you put this spawn down in these holes that are drilled in here, the phloem and xylem in this tree run long ways, and that's what brings food and water up through there. And when this mycelium goes down into the grain, it will run the channels of the phloem and xylem up through here, and they'll colonize this whole log. And like I said, if there was another fungus in here trying to colonize, it wouldn't kill this fungus, but it would compete with it, and it probably wouldn't fruit as well. So that's why we use fresh logs. And some people suggest that you leave them set for so long, because all trees, all wood has a antimicrobial, anti-fungus component in them, and that'll die. It'll start to deteriorate shortly after you cut it. But I have heard some people say they done it immediately after and had just as good a results. These have been cut 2 or 3 days, I think, when I showed you in the earlier part of the video. So I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you what we get. That those holes are recessed a little bit, and you can see if you get in there close that it kind of fills a hole up and hopefully seals it off really well. I'm being pretty generous with it. So I didn't get the chance to show you what we finished up with, and we didn't actually finish because basically I bought too much spawn and didn't cut enough tree. But with that package of the plug spawn that she bought, which is 500 plugs, we got probably 3 logs this size with the gray dove oyster, and then 2 more little ones like this, and she's still got enough for, I don't know, 1 or 2 like this, or 2 or 3 more like this. And so you get quite a bit out of that, and I don't know how many more she'll have to use the sawdust spawn on for the shiitakes. But yeah, cool little project for home gardeners or just mushroom fanatics. I had a lot of fun doing it with my sister, spend time with her, and I left most of the work for her to do, so she's got a lot of work to do. But anyway, there it is, log inoculation. Fun little project. I suggest you try it if you're into that kind of thing. I'll see y'all guys later. Bye.